Welcome to Piper Jane's 3-month video. It is absolutely crazy how fast she's growing. If I didn't have it all recorded in pictures, I seriously might not believe it. In this video, I'll be shooting in a few different lighting situations. Window light, and also another one of my all-time favorite light sources that you can find in every home. And we're even gonna head outside for a little bit too.
Hi, Peanut.
I just want to put out there that no babies were harmed in the filming of this video. But I will say that Mark and I go to extreme lengths to get Piper to pay attention to us, even if we sound or look absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe some of this is actually caught on video. Hi.
Hi, Peanut.
When your camera shutter opens and light is recorded on the sensor to create a photograph, there are 3 main elements that contribute to how much light is let in: the ISO, the aperture and f-stop, and the shutter speed. I heard a photographer explain exposure this way once, and I really liked it. It's like filling up a bucket of water, except for instead of water, let's picture chocolate. A bucket, being a set size, takes a certain amount of chocolate to fill it up. You can fill it up by having a small stream of chocolate for a long period of time, or a large stream of chocolate for a short period of time. Either way, it's the same amount of chocolate. In photography, chocolate symbolizes the light. The size of the stream of chocolate symbolizes the aperture f-stop, and the amount of time that you pour it in symbolizes the shutter speed. And the size of the bucket symbolizes your ISO, or digital film speed. Okay, so now that we're all drooling over the chocolate in the bucket, snap out of it. Let's focus on f-stops, what they are, and how we can use them to get certain results. This first series of shots was taken in our living room. I love creating shots that have a natural feel to them, something that represents a little glimpse into our life. A huge part of our life is spent on that white couch, and Piper is usually jumping all over us. Granted, she might not be in a tutu with a Gerber daisy headpiece, but we had to have a little fun for the shoot.
Do you like it better when I'm on the side?
Hi, sweet girl. So we know that f-stops play a vital role in the exposure, but it also plays a huge role in how the photograph will actually look. The f-stop controls how much of a subject will be in focus. The larger the stream of chocolate, or aperture, the smaller the range of focus, or depth of field, and vice versa. How close you are to your subject and how close your subject is to the background will also affect your depth of field and range of focus. For this series, I was shooting as wide open as the lens would allow. And for the standard zoom lens at 50 millimeters, it allowed me to shoot at f5.
Oh, goodness.
Ready? Ready?
Go, go, go.
Okay.
That's a good girl.
See if she'll just sit on you. I love shooting as wide open as possible. The wider my f-stop, the more light is let in, and I need as much light as I can get when I'm shooting inside.
3.
Are you gonna sit still? Little bit.
Peanut.
There was some limitation as to what I could do with the standard zoom lens, but I wanted to show you the difference between what a shot looks like taken at f5.0 and one taken at f1.8. Being able to shoot at f1.8 is one huge difference between an amateur and a professional lens. And I'm not saying you need to go out and buy one, but I really want you to see the difference. The first shot here was taken at f5.0. and the second one was taken at f1.8. I really want you to study these two photos. What differences do you see, and which one do you like better? I decided to use the beanbag for this next series of shots that I also used in her newborn shoot. It was the perfect way to pose her because she can't quite sit up yet, but she still loves to wiggle and roll around. It was the perfect way to steady her for the photo.
Uno, dos, tres,
And boom! Hi, little girl. Paper. Oh. One reason I love using a beanbag is you can move it anywhere. In this case, I moved it as close to the window as I could because I wanted to get the most intense light, but also the closer you move to your light source, the more evenly it will skim across her. Piper, cutie pie. How close you are to your subject and how close your subject is to the background will also affect your depth of field and range of focus.
Oh my goodness.
In these photos, because Piper was actually laying on the background and I was shooting at f5, the entire picture appears to be in focus, but I think it really works for this picture. Let's face it, babies love to fly, or at least Piper does. Creating some sort of fun movement for the baby creates a much more natural and fun image. It gets them laughing and interacting, and it's much more indicative of real life.
1, 2, 3.
Because Mark and Piper were virtually on the same plane, at f5 they are both in focus. The background was also fairly close to them, so the entire photo is pretty much in focus. If I could somehow with this lens shoot at 1.8, I think I could get more of a separation between Piper and the background, and I think I might have liked it a little bit better.
You are loud.
One of my favorite all-time places to shoot inside is in a doorway, with the door open, of course.
We're going to do a couple shots here in the doorway, so I'm going to use the boppy again, and she's actually going to be on her stomach, and it's just going to be her little face peeking over, and we're going to try to get her hands just right under her chin there, and I'm going to use a white, it's going to be a white background, so I'm going to just throw that right on top of the boppy there, and right like this, and she loves the on her tummy, huh? Yeah, if you can just hand me.
For these next shots, I set up a little impromptu studio in my doorway. I used the ottoman from my couch, I used my boppy to pose Piper on, and I put a white blanket over it, and Mark held up a black blanket behind her that was the background. Doorways are really great because they usually let in more light than a window.
Hi, little girl. Hi. Oh, that's my girl. Hi, sweetie.
The quality of light that comes in the doorway is just so beautiful and crisp. The bright outdoors lights up the face just perfectly, and it has no harsh shadows. It brings such a radiant quality to the face and eyes. It's so alive. I think this setup turned out so nice. It was the perfect place to get a really nice close-up of Piper. That's one thing when I'm shooting babies. I always want to get in close. Their little features are so cute. You really just can't go wrong.
Oh, you're gonna try to go somewhere? Look at you. Oh, look at you.
Here is the photo taken with the Nikon at f5. I also took another shot with my professional camera at f1.8. If you notice, the image taken at f5 has everything in focus. But the image taken at 1.8 has a certain subtleness to it. Her ears go soft and her shoulders, and it's just a completely different look. For this last series of shots, we headed outside for a little fresh air and some shade. It is amazing what a change of scenery will do for a shoot, especially when you're photographing a baby. Piper loves being outside. It could take a shoot from what seems to be going downhill to making it a lot more fun.
Hi.
Okay, now you can toss it.
I thought the tree branch that I positioned right behind Mark and Piper would be the perfect thing to demonstrate more of what depth of field is. Here is my first shot taken at f5, and here's a shot I took at f1.8. Just look at the difference. I love how the tree branch fades into the distance. It still creates interest, but it doesn't steal the show. If you find these videos helpful, definitely let me know. And if there's any questions that I could address in these videos, I'd love to hear from you.